Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the It Doesn't Matter podcast. And we've got myself, John, and we've got...
We got the Dominican Dream, baby. This is Papi Plátano.
There. He's right there. And we have...
I'm the Notorious One. I am Dom. Boo.
And for what seems like forever, we're actually in person, believe it or not. We're at the home of Mr. Don Williams, the Notorious One. So we're in 3 boxes here, but we're actually sitting mere feet away from each other. Isn't that right, Abel? Okay. But we're here in person. Why is all the camera white balance all different? Let's not get race into this as we go forward with Hulk Hogan, an episode of the It Doesn't Matter podcast featuring one of the greatest professional wrestlers, superstars of all time, the Immortal Hulk Hogan. Dom, what do we have going on with the Immortal Hulk Hogan?
Yes, today we are talking about the Immortal Hulk Hogan. The reason why we're talking about the Immortal Hulk Hogan, because the man has a birthday coming up. So I figure it's the right time to acknowledge him.
Hold up, what? You used the on Hogan?
You want a shot?
No.
Alrighty then. So I figured today we acknowledge the man Hulk Hogan. He is a legend. He's one of the reasons why the 3 of us are lifelong fans. So this episode right here, it might be good, it might be bad, and it definitely will be controversial.
We'll see about that.
That's right.
But we're going to start with some good things right here. And I'm going to kick it off with the first question. I'm going to ask my man, the Dominican Dream, Papi Plátano.
Well, you won't ask me, baby. We gonna give me a question.
All right. So as a kid growing up, what were your first thoughts on seeing the man Hulk Hogan?
Man, honestly, American hero from what we gather. I mean, he fought all the monsters. He's... Yeah, Dom, that shirt says it all. He fought all the monsters. He overcame a lot, even though it made no sense because he was about the same size as most of the guys he went, or bigger. A true icon in the industry, and just someone who actually can control the crowd. And as a kid, you're just mesmerized by the charisma that he had. Just he had to do just one little move, just one little motion, and he had you. So. That's what my fondest memories as a kid for Hulk Hogan. John?
I hear that. John, what about you, buddy?
As we all know, here on the It Doesn't Matter podcast, the majority of my wrestling fandom began in December 1995. I've said it so much, we all know it now, don't we?
Yeah.
But, as you know, a lot of people, they said, pro wrestling's kid stuff. And it's like, well, it was kid stuff back in the day. That's who they marketed it toward. And as a kid, and, my birthday coincides with WrestleMania every single year. So, WrestleMania 1 is there. Later in the year, my birthday, I turn 1 year old. WrestleMania 2, same thing. Later that year, I turn 2 years old. And so forth. So, around, 5th, kindergarten, 1st grade, that kind of age range, 4, 5, 6. I think I did watch wrestling. I can prove that by the toys I had. I had some trading cards, the wrestling classic trading cards. I had, the LJN, the big rubber Hulk Hogan figure at a hillbilly gym.
I had that. So
I had some Hulk Hogan stuff, and he's a wrestler I could name, a household name, like trash. But all I can recall is that I stopped watching wrestling because Hulk Hogan was never on. And if you know anything about the history of that, that's absolutely correct. Hulk Hogan only wrestled the live events because that's where the money was.
Yep.
Or he wrestled on, Saturday night's main event. And a 5-year-old kid ain't watching that.
Nope.
Doesn't even know what it is. All the young children know is, Superstars at 11 a.m. or whatever the daytime pro wrestling was, and he was never on. So every time I tried to watch wrestling, he was never there, so I just stopped watching until many, many years later. And that's kind of where it was, and that was okay, because there was plenty of Ninja Turtles, there's plenty of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, plenty of Fox Kids, plenty of X-Men to turn my attention toward, and that's where it went. So that was my first foray into wrestling, but I will credit it to Hulk Hogan.
I mean, since you mentioned that since Hulk Hogan was never on TV, Dom, since your favorite chef is never on TV, what if a kid growing up right now who loves Roman Reigns never sees him on TV, only sees him on the big shows? You know what? I lose my interest because the guy I want to see is never on TV. What are your thoughts on that?
Tune in to Peacock to check out the best of Roman Reigns. Anytime you want, any place, anywhere.
Able to combat that, I would say that nowadays they replay so many things all the time that he's always there. Yeah. Even on a show like Main Event, which no one is ever on. You only get like the Riot Squad and Alpha Academy on that thing, But they would show highlights of the Raw or SmackDown, and if you didn't know any better, that's how you caught up to the big important news. I would argue that back in the day, they did not do highlight packages very often because they only had 1 hour of TV. So they only gave you live in-ring stuff. So that's why you would never see video packages of Hulk Hogan getting squashed by Earthquake a million times or something of that nature.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, especially with social media being what it is nowadays. I mean, all Roman Reigns has to do is like, hey, I'm here. And then boom, 2, 3, 4 million views and bam, you got it. So, yeah, it's a big difference, especially with social media being where it is. It's not the same. This is why I don't do the whole ratings thing. People can fight over it. Oh, ratings this, ratings that. You have so many options. I mean, granted, wrestling will never be like football where football takes over like the majority of a Sunday. It's like 26, 27.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the ratings.
Yeah. Okay.
They'll never wrestling. I love it no matter what. But if it even gets to a 5, I'll be shocked. In these day and age, I mean, it's tough to even get a 2 or a 1. So,
does ratings even matter? Because everything's on demand now.
In my opinion, the way TV's going, ratings are pretty much obsolete.
I mean, what's tangible nowadays? Like what proves to, back in the day, ratings would indicate that yes, X amount of people watch this show, therefore we can sell X amount of ads to these people, however old they are or their gender, the demographic, the nationality. That's how that would be. But nowadays with streaming on demand, how do you quantify that? I mean, if you have one Peacock account, one Hulu account, one Netflix account under a family or a demographic, and you can monitor what they watch. And maybe if you're on a Netflix shared account with 4 profiles and, one's a kid's account that watches Bluey or something, and the other one watches Stranger Things, and the other one watches Squid Game.
Yeah.
Who is finding the metrics for that? And I'm sure there is someone that's the whole point of this thing. That's how they make money. But ultimately, do TV ratings matter? I mean, the only thing proven is that live sports are a must because they're live and it's important. Right now, it matters. But if it's a TV show or drama where I can wait to see the spoilers, or I can be spoiler-free for a day or a week, or I can save that for a binge watch, like, how do you make money off that? No one's really sure. So how does modern, let's not get into modern wrestling because we're here to talk about Hulk Hogan here today, and we should stick with that. But, modern wrestling, like, what if they have a low rating? Do you put money behind it? Are you going to spend money on it? Who knows? We don't know. It's still a new business, the streaming industry is.
Yeah, no matter what, though, we're all creatures of habit. It's just, if you're going to watch a certain thing or you do certain things at certain days, it's always going to be tangible. It's like, Monday Night Raw has already been there since we were a kid, so it's just like innate. Monday, we're going to watch TV. It's hard to say what AEW is going to be in a few more years because it's still a young company and it's still, 5, 6, 7 years maybe into its infancy. We're still not programmed because especially still people trying to find out, what's this new thing, this new wrestling company, this AEW, I've never heard of it. And then you see a few guys that you may have seen before. And you just, just become a creature habit of that, and you see it again. So, I don't know.
Well, where all this delved from is we're trying to compare the superstar nature of someone like a Roman Reigns to someone of a superstar nature like Hulk Hogan, our main topic for today, back in the 80s.
Yes.
Back in the day, you only had a few options to be seen on TV, and you either were on it or were not. And Hulk Hogan, even though he was the face of the company, he just wasn't on the smaller programs.
No.
But like I said, as a young child, maybe I wasn't their target demographic because obviously I wasn't smart enough to figure out, hey, I'm supposed to pay to see him at the New Haven Coliseum. Mommy, Daddy, take me to the New Haven Coliseum. Mommy, Daddy, take me to the Hartford Civic Center. Mommy, Daddy, take me to the Providence Civic Center. You know, I wasn't there yet. Didn't have the words. My parents didn't have the knowledge to understand those words. Immigrant families, what are you gonna do?
Oh man.
All right. Let me ask you all. I'm sorry, Platinum. What was your favorite match or a favorite moment of the Immortal Hulk Hogan?
The most memorable for me, though, it's not favorite, but the one that just encapsulated all was always WrestleMania 6 with him versus Ultimate Warrior. It's just those two guys were at the peak of their fandom. They were just a head-on collision, and for some reason, I didn't care for Hogan, man. I was a Warrior guy at the time. I couldn't believe I actually had my back turned to him. I was only about 3-4 years old, but I care less. And it was an incredible match. He really did, like, pass the torch or try to pass the torch to somebody and, keep the wrestling business going. But unfortunately, things backstage that we didn't privy of because we were too young and we weren't reading the dirt sheets, much less reading at all. It didn't turn out to be what it really should have been. And I know years later he said he wanted to turn heel that night. I think, honestly, if he ever got that chance, I don't know if the whole NWO turn would have made as big of an impact at that time. It's kind of good on Vince to, keep your babyface. You're still selling merch. You're still doing good. So, just for that, I'd have to say that's one of my favorites, though. Just him just being the guy to just pass the torch to somebody else.
I agree. One of my favorite moments of Hogan is seeing as a child. I seen that WrestleMania 6 poster, and at the VHS at the time, and VCR videos back in the day for people that don't know what VHS is. But you just see that poster. You see the man, flexing, and his shirt, as you see in the graphic right here, being tore up. And you see the Warrior, hands up, and you see the face paint, the tassels, all that stuff like that. That is like a beautiful image for a child, and it stuck with me. I know it probably stuck with other kids at the time too. And then after, seeing this, and like John said earlier, that you have to watch Superstars or whatever,
Saturday Night Main
Challenge,
Event,
Saturday Night Main Event to see this guy Hulk Hogan, and then you see Hulk Hogan coming out with the headband on and the shirt, and he's ripping the shirt and he's just flexing, and the gold chain, and he just posing, and you hear Rick Derringer's Real American. It just, everything that he did monumental, and like we said, that Hogan must pose. It was something to see.
Yeah.
It was just something spectacular, and that's one of the things that got me into Hulk Hogan. And we'll talk about his later years, but at this time, as a kid growing up, 3-4 years old, Hogan's my guy. I like Warrior too, but Hogan, he was my guy, and I used to enjoy every single one of his matches.
Yeah.
So, John, what about you? What's your favorite match or a moment of Hulk Hogan?
Well, one thing I'd like to mention that you mentioned just a moment ago is that why do we always like to age ourselves by saying, you people don't know what a VHS is. You don't know what a VCR is. I hated that. People were coming to me 15 years ago. It's like, you're too young. You don't know what a cassette is. I'm like, I know what a freaking cassette is, my friend. But there are a lot of dumb people out there that don't know what technology is. Yeah, there are a lot of stupid guys out there, that don't know things.
Youngins.
So I don't know. We have to eat ourselves. I remember it was like, 2010 or something. I was at work and I was talking to some lady of the night. It was just because it was at night and she was a lady. And we're talking about I was just referencing like, oh, so my coworker has a really old phone. She's like, oh my, like a flip phone. It's like, flip phones, yeah, those are really old. And well, they are, but now they're making a comeback. Just don't call it that. But if you're talking about favorite, are we talking about like old Hogan or is all-time Hogan, Dom?
All time.
All time?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, for you.
Might I give a shout out and a plug for Wrestling That Made Us, featuring Dom and myself, and we talk about one of my favorite matches of all time, Hollywood Hulk Hogan facing The Rock at WrestleMania 18, and we watch the match and we have a little commentary over it, so make sure you check that out on YouTube. It's been available for many weeks now. You can't miss it. Watch it many times over, as many times as you want. Go incognito, watch it again. Use your brother's account, use your sister's account, use your mother's account. Watch it many, many times.
Yes, we want the views. Get the views up. Let's go.
I just want to beat Paul Martinez. But anyway, Hulk Hogan, he faced a lot of people, a lot of superstars over the years. It's crazy to think, because he's run the gamut and he's old. Yes, he faced Macho Man in one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. Yes, he faced the Ultimate Warrior and also one of my favorite WrestleMania main events of all time. But I'll give a special plug for Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hulk Hogan versus the Total Package Lex Luger 1 week before Road Wild 1997, where Luger won the title. Now, here's what I did not realize at the time, okay? I did not realize that Luger won the title in the very same building he did not win the WWF title from Yokozuna 3 years earlier.
You serious?
Excuse me. Luger won the WCW World title from Hulk Hogan at the Palace of Auburn Hills in Michigan in 1997, where he beat Yokozuna by countout in 1993. I did not realize that.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, that adds so much. No wonder they did it.
Yeah.
No wonder they did it. And it broke the... See, now that's... Talk about another example of a year-long storyline. Hulk Hogan being the leader of the NWO with the NWO WCW World title. He's going all the way to Starrcade to face Sting in the most anticipated matchup of its time.
Yes, it was.
Yet he takes a pause to lose the world title to Lex Luger. Did that make any difference to his Starrcade match with Sting?
No.
It did not. It did not.
If you said someone's gonna drop their belt before like the biggest main event, you'd have been like, "What are you doing? Why are you making them drop that belt?" Like someone we know.
Sammy. Drew.
Oh man.
So
that was a great analogy, because when I remember seeing it, I'm like, "Oh my God, Lex got the belt," and then next week you're like,
Literally.
God damn it.
Literally.
They're even coming out with a special Ultimate Edition Lex Luger. I've been collecting all these elite Lex Luger figures because I'm a big Lex Luger mark.
Same.
And they're coming out with an Ultimate Edition of him as he was beating Hogan, because they have the WCW title, the spray paint on it. So,
Ooh.
yeah. But the thing is, Luger... I was watching, earlier today, I watched a YouTube clip of Maven, Tough Enough winner Maven, and he was telling a story about how Jeff Hardy told him, you know how I change my outfits all the time? So I can make more toys, make more merch, make more money.
That makes sense.
And Maven just came out in black trunks, How did Stone Cold Steve Austin make so much money? Well, he came with a lot of t-shirt designs.
T-shirt designs and vests.
Yep. That's right. So Lex Luger... He did not have that attitude in the later half of his career. He just wore black all the time. White boots, black boots.
Black jeans.
Good
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man. That figure was his only figure. Well, not his only figure, but his first figure in the WCW Toy Biz line, where he's wearing Wolfpack jean pants.
Oh, my God.
Not a Luger I'd want, but hey.
Did you get the version of him in the wheelchair?
No.
Fucking Dom.
Oh, no, I just wonder.
You're a dick.
Bouncing back to the wheels fall.
No wonder why you're the notorious one, you jerk.
Oh, Lord. I was just wondering. I'll cop that one. That one's humble.
Moving on.
All right, so my next question. So we all know
the alcohol is back on the It Doesn't Matter podcast.
Yeah, we back. Show the bottle. Show the bottle up, Patano. Show we got our own liquor.
It doesn't matter. Liquor will make you sicker.
Yes.
All right, so we all know that Hulk Hogan worked as a heel, even though he's a babyface, a good majority of his career. But what are your thoughts on people loving him for his work? strap.
For his work?
Yes, for his
Oh,
work.
for his, like, his in-ring
His
acumen?
in-ring, yeah, you know. Like, because if you have a bad guy, Roddy Piper, doing the same shit, the eye poke, the eye rake, and scratching on the back, boo. Well, Hogan did, everybody loved it. What's your thoughts on that?
I think he should work for Apple. The eye everything, Roddy Piper. Anyway. But... You know, wrestling, I compare it to like DJing almost. So it's like you have your familiar movesets, you have your familiar songs, you know they work. Yep. They always work. Yep. Maybe they don't work all the time, but they work the majority of the time. It's the same thing. You're looking at the crowd, you're seeing you're throwing out what works. You got the rest holds, the filler songs. You got the I know people dance to this song. You have like, okay, this is a Chicago crowd, they're tougher. A Philly crowd, they're tougher. Oh, we're in Texas. We have a bigger Hispanic crowd in Texas and Arizona and San Diego. We have a whiter crowd in Seattle and Montana. You know, whatever the situation may be, you pull the tools out. Yep. And if you're an experienced wrestler that may have been around all over the world, like Hogan was, and at least he was in Japan, at least. Yeah.
Very underrated match. People forget about that match and don't know about it. But
Hogan was a beast.
The funniest thing is, like, you know, Hogan is a very infamous, you know, Hogan going to Japan in '93, facing the Great Muta, doing all those wrestling moves that look very clunky and terrible, and then he uses that as a defense of, like, you know, that's what they, you know, in America, they don't want me to be that Hogan. They want me to be the simplistic Hogan. It's like,
it's true.
And I can agree with that. Do what makes you, you know, gets you the money and is easiest on your body, man.
Honestly, he said that, and I was like, you know what? That is the smartest thing he could have done, and I think every wrestler said that. Like, you only got so many bumps on that card, and you don't want to, like, use it up on the first shot. So if I can only do 1-2 bumps and I can still get away with a big check, please.
And also think about it this way, where, you know, just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you do it well.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a Hulk Hogan figure 4 leg lock, I might add?
Oh, no. Yeah. It's ugly.
Yeah. He can do it.
He can do it. It's ugly as hell, though.
Like, do you really want me to do it? I'll do it.
It's like John Cena doing the STF.
Or the springboard stunner. Remember that one?
That was dope.
Yeah, she's not bad, though. Call me off guard.
I enjoyed that.
When he made it 50% of the time. Did I say less than? But Hogan knows best. Hogan did what he did best, and that was a symbol of the punching. I saw a clip of him and Zeus from the Survivor Series today. Man, just punching, scratches his eye, scoop slam, Zeus gets right back up. Hey, man, if that's, you know, that's why they mock the intelligence of the pro wrestling fans at the time. This punch. That's all. That's it. That's all you guys can do. Let's put the Zack Sabre match in there. Oh, it's a little more technical knowledge then, huh?
Yep.
So, but hey, you know, all wrestling is a work, you know. And was Hogan a great worker? Not in the sense of the word that you think it is, but yeah, he is one of the best workers of all time because he made the most money.
Yes.
He was among the top draws of all time. So, yes, he was a great worker.
Yep, Bully Ray is the best. The best worker is always the guy that draws the most money and does the least amount. So,
I'm sure Tracy Smothers knew 5,000 wrist locks, but he only could afford one wristwatch.
Yes.
Woo!
Woo!
Oh, man. All right. Platinum, I'm going to ask this question for you. We're going to get serious for a moment. With all the controversy behind Hulk Hogan, why is it difficult to separate Hulk Hogan, the character, from the man that literally broke his back for professional wrestling, to Terry Bollea with all the allegations and things coming out?
The biggest issue is everybody in social media land just can't separate the character from the person, and the whole, like, invading the privacy, that's a big issue. Like, the whole, was it Gawker that we found out about the situation with, about he wanted to say about his daughter? That, regardless, that's private conversations that shouldn't have been put out. But at the same time, you got an insight into who he really felt or how he felt. I don't know. It's like the whole Chris Benoit thing. As a wrestler, I get it. You guys are great, and you do what you got to do in the ring, and I love it. Outside the ring, I can separate the man from the wrestler. sometimes some of these guys are dickheads, man. I don't care. I mean, when I go to a wrestling show, I'm not asking you to tell me about your personal life. Just be that character. It's like MJF. He's probably the nicest guy in the world, and we have no clue backstage because I don't want to know. As a fan, I'd rather just know that character and that's it. I don't want to know anything backstage. Just me personally, I don't want to know your personal life. I just want to know the character I'm seeing. It's just like a movie. I'm watching The Avengers, and now we hear about Robert Downey Jr. being Doctor Doom. I get it. He's done a lot of dumb shit back in the days, and he's had to pay for it. But as a character, I love him. That's how I see it. I don't get into the whole controversial stuff. I care less. Are there things that are very wrong? Yes, there's a lot of things that are very wrong, but just wrestling itself, I can separate Hulk Hogan from Terry Bollea. Just me.
I hear that. Just like in our text we had with Stratfax John the other day, he said that basically Robert Downey Jr. had his issues going on, and everybody forgave him. This man's getting roll after roll after roll. What about Jonathan Majors?
He should get a second chance.
Whatever. Like, this shit, you do what you do in your personal business, whatever. I don't like it. I can condone what you do, but the man got to eat. The man got to work. Let the man do what he got to do. You enjoyed him in Creed. You enjoyed him in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Do what the fuck you got to do. That's what it basically is, but as a kid, I was a diehard Hogan fan. I still enjoy seeing Hulk Hogan in wrestling capacity.
Yes. Even
though he popped up a few weeks ago at a presidential convention. They tried to kill my president. Like, we ain't talking politics on this show. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But whoever he vote for, that's on him. But as Hulk Hogan, the character, say your prayers, take your vitamins, drink your milk, and all the other good stuff like that. I did all that besides the milk, and
yeah,
I was a diehard Hogan fan.
Because we were just like Booby. As soon as you drink that milk,
basically, I enjoyed seeing this man, overcome all the odds, take on all challenges, face all the giants, get his ass whipped, come back, Hulk up, get the win, pose. He pointed at the kids doing the flex and all that stuff. That was cool. That's Hulk Hogan right there. But as the man, Terry Bollea himself, whatever, he said some, pretty fucked up comments about African Americans and whatnot, and he don't want them with his daughter. Whatever, I understand it. I might make a joke out of it every now and then, but honestly, if y'all come to my crib, I don't expect you to record what the fuck I'm saying in my crib.
No.
Like, I don't expect that.
No.
Like, I confide in y'all. Like, I would have y'all in my crib if I didn't trust y'all. But even still, it's still a fucked up thing to say, but it ain't right.
No.
And now he got this new allegation with Hulk Hogan Real American Beer. And that the lead rep was African American, and supposedly that he didn't know that she was African American, that he fired her because of what she was, or what her race was.
Well, it was an honest mistake there, Dom. I mean, Hogan meant for his daughter Brooke Hogan to represent the beer, not Kira Hogan. Okay.
Yeah.
Although I think Kira Hogan would make one hell of a representative.
Oh, yeah. Oof.
Calls that the weird.
Anyway. Yeah, but
put that in the back truck.
Nowadays, this right here, this cell phone right here, social media, a camera, it could jeopardize your whole life right there.
It is the most dangerous weapon in the world, no matter what anyone tells you. And it's all a matter of perspective, too, because if you tell one person one thing, that's all they're going to hear. If you tell somebody something else, that's the only story they want to hear. And between both stories, there's a truth between those two, and nobody wants to hear it, to be honest, because the way the world is right now, man, it's just like it's so divided. It's disgusting because we can't find that middle ground to just be united. We're the United States of America, and we're not united at all. And it's just pisses me off every day when I see some of the dumb shit that goes on social media, especially politics. It's like, okay, you're going against each other, that's fine, but the mudslinging and all that shit. The way I dealt with bullies back in the day, I just punched them in the mouth and they shut the hell up. That's just how I feel. If you want to bully me, you're going to find out.
Seriously, the world's all about he said, she said, and that's the unfortunate problem with this, with everything going on in the world right now.
The problem is, man, a lot of people are just they can't take a punch, man. To be honest, you can dish it out, but you can't take it. And I don't care where side of the floor you on. If you're ready for a war, it is what it is, man. You're gonna be cutting promos about one person. Let somebody else cut promos on you too. It is what it is.
I think one difference with Hulk Hogan and his incident, everyone can have an opinion. So here's mine.
Let's go.
So
I'm waiting for this one.
On the one side, yeah, it's unfair, very unfair, and he was got to be in form of entrapment. That's got to be the right word.
Yeah.
That Hogan was put in a position that he was wrongfully recorded without his knowledge or permission. He was trapped by a trusted associate of his. It doesn't matter what he did or what he said during that time. He was in a private setting, or so he thought, and that was wrong. So that's wrong on Bubba, and unfortunately Hogan got caught up in that. The next thing, this is the part where Hogan can take fault, is that when he made allegedly, when he made an actual, a public apology or a private apology to the roster of the WWE, the only thing he kept repeating was, "I didn't know I was being recorded." That is not an apology.
No.
That is not an apology for anything that he said or he meant. The only thing he was like just reiterated was, "I didn't know I was being recorded, blah, 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 blah." And that's what people took away, and that's why people can continue to point fingers at Hogan, and like we do on the show, we make fun of it because we make fun of everything, because we make light of everything. Life doesn't have to be that serious,
No.
On the opposite end, someone like Jay Briscoe, if you do or do not know, back in 2010, 2011, he made some remarks on Twitter. Twitter, a platform which makes no money for anyone but costs everyone millions.
Yep.
He made some remarks on Twitter regarding gay people, okay? And you can defend it as it was a different time, a different era, all that stuff, but he got into big trouble for it at the time. And it would affect him until the end of his life, because he was not allowed to sign a contract with AEW. He was not allowed, on the Turner, Warner Brothers, Time Warner networks, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
He was not allowed on there because of those remarks he made 10 years ago. Now, from all accounts, he was remorseful.
Yep.
He apologized. He learned his lesson, and he tried to make himself a better person. And so he deserved a second chance. Hulk Hogan did none of those things. So in that sense, Hulk Hogan doesn't deserve a second chance. But Jay Briscoe did. But he passed away, unfortunately. And so his legacy is that his brother, Mark Briscoe, gets to be on TV. Which, if they were all still alive, even with his reformation, even with his change and his honest desire to better his knowledge of what people are, he deserved that chance. But Hogan never apologized for what he said behind the scenes. So, in that sense, screw you, Hulkster, on your birthday in 2024, brother. But,
I'm sorry, brother.
but
I didn't know I was being recorded, brother. I'm sorry, brother.
But
man.
can you erase the feelings that you have about Hulk Hogan, the character, the performer, the wrestler, from Terry Bollea. I mean, listen, man. What he did the worst thing in the world? No, there's been worse things, okay? There's Bill Cosby as Norm Macdonald in the Cars with Comedians show with Jerry Seinfeld. Seinfeld asked Norm Macdonald, can you separate Cosby the artist from the man? Seinfeld said he could. He said, yeah, I can separate the two. I know that, hey, the real person is probably a jerk. He is a jerk. But his work is still influential, made me a comedian.
Yep.
Seinfeld. Norm Macdonald said, no, I cannot separate the man from his work. What he did was too awful.
Yeah.
And so many others canceled throughout all the speaking out movements. You know, is what they did too awful? That's their personal opinion of you. You know. Who else? Oh boy, how are we getting into this on Hulk Hogan topics? This is bad, so bad. But you got your R. Kellys, man. You got Michael Jackson. You have the artists, the music that affected so many people in so many good ways.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's just keep them together, both of them. Okay. One is in prison right now. One of them's dead. You know, and one of them, you know, he didn't get to live 10 more years to get into that speaking out movement, although there's been documentaries. From one of those documentaries, I think R. Kelly's is much, much worse than Michael Jackson's allegations.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's allegations, also really, really bad. But who's still being played on Spotify today?
Both.
One of them. Well, if you can find it.
Yeah.
If you can find it, you can find it.
Michael Jackson still being played on the radios.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So
R. Kelly.
it's
R. Kelly and the raffle.
it's up to the individual person to determine whether if someone did something really terrible or not, if they can be forgiven, because you can only forgive someone right here. You can't tell other people to do it.
Nope.
So.
All right, so John, while you're saying this right now, with all the controversy surrounding Hulk Hogan, at the end of the day, will this affect his legacy?
No. Obviously there's an asterisk, but in the grand scheme of things, nah, man, he's still the guy. He's still his influence is still stronger as a wrestling legend than it is, you know, doing one-off remarks in private situations.
Yeah.
I'm not the target of what he said, so it doesn't hit me in that way. If he did, I'd probably still brush it off, honestly. But I was not the target of his remarks in that situation, so I can say, oh, it doesn't bother me as much. It's still a crummy thing to do, say, act, and behave, but for me, just as I said a second ago, forgiveness is on the individual. Could I forgive him? I can't. I can't speak for anyone else, but I can forgive him for his digressions, and I can still see him as a pro wrestling superstar that has had a big effect on my life.
What about you, Platino?
It's hard just because I've had to deal with racism back in the day too as a kid. A lot of shit. I mean, a lot. Just helping out kids that didn't speak Spanish, only spoke Spanish and had a hard time speaking English. Just, get that mita bullshit out of here. Like, really, dude? Half of you guys can't even fight. Y'all really gonna talk to me? There's a lot of people like, oh, I'm a quiet dude. Like, nah, I defend a lot of people that bullshit, especially my brother. I didn't tolerate any bullying with my brother, so I'm not gonna tolerate any bullying from anybody. And being called the N-word before too, that I just looked at somebody like, are you fucking stupid? Like, you really got the nerve to call me that? I'm of Dominican descent, and yeah, there's controversy with some Dominicans that just claim that they're not black. Like, look up our culture. We have a lot of African American in our descendancy, but I'm not getting into that either. But it's disgusting. I can, like I said, I can separate the man from the character. The guy I won't forgive, and I don't say it too often, but I never forget that. But the character, it's always gonna live on, and It's always gonna have an effect in wrestling lore. So, like I said, I won't forgive him personally, but character-wise, he's always gonna be top tier for me. That's as far as I'm gonna go because I just don't tolerate none of that bullshit at all. I've already dealt with enough of it. I'm not gonna do it anymore.
Well, I'll give you my thoughts on it. Like I said, Hogan was my childhood idol. I respected the man, but when he made when Bubba the Love Sponge made those comments and released everything that came out, it really did hurt because basically one of the main ones that supported Hulk Hogan was all the African Americans. Hogan was It was cool. Hogan with one with the bandana, the do rag. Hogan with the chain and the he rocking Jordans and whatnot. Hogan was cool. Hogan was in movies. He was doing everything. But as a black man, it definitely did hurt. I'm not gonna lie. And after they say time heals all wounds. Some of us gave him another chance, and then he does some other fucked up shit, like I said, with the rep, and now it's back to this point again. Like, all right, like, okay, Hogan, you just ruining everything for everybody right here. But I still appreciate what you did for the business. I still appreciate Hulk Hogan, the character, but I'll say it on camera here, Terry Bollea, you're a piece of shit. I'll say that. I still like Hulk Hogan. I like Hulk Hogan, the character, because you were my childhood. I have a picture of you. Well, I have a picture of myself dressed as you. I want to be you, but Terry Bollea, you're a piece of shit. That's my point of view. Yeah. That's basically it.
It's sad to say when they say don't meet your heroes, man. Unfortunately, man, Hulk, you ended up being one of those guys I don't know if I ever want to meet. I know it's controversial. It's not really what I want to say because I want to meet all of the wrestlers no matter what they've gone through in life. But some of the shit I've been hearing and seeing is just like I can't. I just can't. I can separate, like I said, I'll separate the man from the character, but I don't know how far I'm going to go anymore. I think just strict the character, but even that, I just might change the channel for a first time.
So my final question for tonight's show is your final thoughts on Hulk Hogan and his legacy in pro wrestling. And I'll kick it off. Hogan was an icon. He still is an icon to this business. A lot of guys like The Rock, Roman Reigns, and whoever else, John Cena, they all looked up to the icon Hulk Hogan. You were a trendsetter. You won the first wrestlers to become an actor, even though it really didn't work out in your favor. And other guys like John Cena, Roddy Piper, Batista, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, they followed your footsteps, and they did that. You are a trendsetter. You are, one of the guys, one of Mr. WrestleMania, one of the guys who, put on the damn show every single year. And you changed your role in '96. You became a heel. You became one of the top villains in professional wrestling. You were the number one heel, but you were the cool bad guy that people still looked up to in the NWO, and you put over Goldberg, DDP, and everybody else in WCW at that time. And you were the face of WCW and WWFE, whatever you want to call it. You were the guy. Hell, you even trying to make a comeback in TNA, in which we followed you too. You did a damn thing. Your legacy in pro wrestling is cemented. You are a Hall of Famer. You deserve, everything in the professional wrestling. Everybody, should acknowledge you for everything that you did. But, Terry Bollea, you're a piece of shit. There you go. Who wants to go?
I'll let John go, man.
It's not the Terry Bollea retrospective. But you know, it's said once, it's said many times, over and over and over again. But yeah, no doubt, Hulk Hogan, one of the most influential professional wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling, in the history of the World Wrestling Federation, WWFE, WCW. It's hurting Dom on the inside. It really is.
I know.
From one window to the other. Hey, look at that! Look at that! Hey, why am I whiter over here? Get me on that camera. Hey-oh.
We only want white on this camera, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Hey, I can see Platino's elbow, shoulder in Dom's window. Anywho, what a retrospective on Hulk Hogan as a surprise for all the It Doesn't Matter podcast listeners, watchers out there. Never mind listeners.
And this is my choice.
Yeah.
This is my choice.
Dom's
I
choice.
knew we were gonna talk about the good. I knew we were gonna talk about the bad, and there's gonna be some controversy. I knew we was gonna do. This is my choice right here. So you know.
and it got ugly.
If you tuned into this episode thinking what you were probably going to think, it was nothing like it, was it, brother?
Sorry, San Diego.
And I guarantee this episode will get more views than our Mick Foley episode.
Probably.
Bang, bang. But, no,
Three.
Hulk Hogan's legacy in wrestling is huge. I mean, it's... I'm still buying figures and merch
Yeah.
and things of his
Yeah.
till this day. His legacy is strong. And there's merchandise to support it, and I'm right there. If I'm ever in Clearwater, Florida, or Orlando, I'm headed to Hogan's Beach Shop to check out what's new. I got the Hogan bandana, I got the Tearaway T-shirt, you know, and yeah. So like I said, Hogan's legacy is still strong, and that's the way it's gonna stay, I believe. And even if he made an appearance at the Republican National Convention, hey man, there's people on both sides of the aisle on that one. Dana White, Kid Rock, so many others. Kid Rock, the WWE Hall of Famer Kid Rock, that is. Yep. And so many. It is what it is. And as Hulk Hogan's tattoo says, I am what I am. Abel.
Immortal.
Oh man, I don't know. It's tough for me. I mean, like you said, his legacy is always going to be cemented in the wrestling world. So there's nothing going to change that. As a man, I'll never look at him the same, and it's hard, especially when you talk about the whole Jay Briscoe thing. He actually went out his way to apologize and to, ask for forgiveness, and did the work to show that he had remorse. He actually cared, and what he did was wrong. And Terry just tried to blame it on somebody else. Like, dude, you fuck up, you fuck up. I tell that to some of the guys at work. When you fuck up, just admit it. It's better to just admit it now, and that way you don't have to deal with it in the past, in the future. Because in the past, it is what it is. But if you just keep lingering on, it's never gonna go away. So I fucked up, and that's it. That's all you got to do. Unfortunately, he just wasn't a man enough to do that. He was always the man to overcome all the odds and all that, but this isn't a wrestling match, bro. This is real life, and sometimes you just got to literally just be honest with yourself and admit when you're wrong, because a lot of us see that, and we treat you a different way, and unfortunately, you never went to the side that we thought you would. So, Hulk Hogan, go fuck yourself.
But I didn't know I was being recorded, brother.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, Lord. Well, this concludes our Hulk Hogan episode. Like I said, it's going to be the good, the bad, the ugly, and the controversy. And this is what it was right here. But next week, we're taking it back to 2012. The three of us, and we're trying to get Rose on the show next week. We was in Providence, Rhode Island, and we went to, me and Abel and Rose's first Ring of Honor show. John, was that your first Ring of Honor show?
Hell no.
Oh yeah, cause you seen my man, what's his name? Eat my sperm, bitch.
I've been a Ring of Honor loyalist for a very long time.
All right. Well, this is our first Ring of Honor show because we're like, oh, these are where all the guys from WWE, that's where they was at. So we're going to go check them out. So
all Dom had to mention was Jay Lethal, and I was in because I remember him from the Black Machismo because you knew he was the guy.
Yeah. So we went to our first Ring of Honor show in 2012, Boiling Points. And we're going to talk about that next week. And I'm going to go through the card right quick. We're going to break it down like how we do every week. But here we go right quick. We have Roderick Strong. You might know him as Mr. TNA, Mr. ROH, whatever you want to call him. What was he?
The Messiah of the Backbreaker.
Yes. You might know him from the Undisputed Era or in the Undisputed
Kingdom and whatever.
Kingdom. Yeah. He went against Mike Mondo. John, who's Mike Mondo?
Mikey!
Yes, from the Spirit Squad. All right, in the next match, there's a 4-corner survival match for the Ring of Honor contract. And you might know some of these names. There's a guy named QT Marshall.
Ooh.
That's him.
Going against Matt Taven.
Boo.
Antonio Thomas, who I really don't remember who that is.
He's one of the Heartbreakers in WWF.
And Vinny Marsaglia.
Mushroom sauce.
Yes.
Insanity.
For the righteous.
The righteous.
Nice.
In the kingdom. Old school kingdom. Our next match, we have Adam Cole, baby, going against Brutal Bob Evans in a proving ground match.
In a don't touch my butt match.
And then another match after this, we have Charlie Haas going against Michael Elgin.
I remember this.
Where the hell Michael Elgin at, man? He's still in his Hulk Hogan situation?
A battle of the two guys who can't control their anger.
Oh, Lord.
Yep.
And we also have R.I.P. Jay Briscoe. We have the Briscoe brothers, Jay and Mark Briscoe, going against Scum, Jimmy Jacobs, and Steve Corino.
I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Oh, my wife doesn't find out. Greatest line of all time.
Yep. We also have a 2 out of 3 falls match. We have Jay Lethal, Black Machismo, whatever you want to call him, Mr. AEW right now, going against the psycho sociopath. What's his name? Tommaso Ciampa.
The Sicilian psychopath,
Yeah,
Tommaso Ciampa.
With R.D. Evans.
Barrister R.D. Evans.
Yes. And then after this, we have a mixed tag team match. We have Eddie Edwards and Sarah Del Rey going against Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis. Yes. And in the main events, anything goes for the Ring of Honor Championship. We have that bum, Eddie Kingston, going against
The bum.
Kevin Steen. If y'all know who Kevin Steen is, he is Kevin Owens in the WWE.
2-time WrestleMania main eventer. Take that, Phil Brooks.
Yes. Yes. That's what it is. That show matters. We was all there. The Hulk Hogan show matters because it's all about us.
Damn right.
Damn right.
Oh, man.
Catch it on Honor Club at watchroh.com.
Yeah.
Yes, and tune in also to Wrestling That Made Us. Got a lot of episodes popping
Fresh.
off right now. They're fresh.
Hot off the presses, baby.
Yes, Platino want to get back on. John want to talk some old school matches as well too. So be on the lookout.
You're going to like what we got going on, baby.
Yes, Wrestling That Made Us. Platino, close us out of here, man.
Well, we're in the basement right now recording. It is getting really hot in here. It's hitting a boiling point. Oh my God. John and Dom versus each other. The Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Oh my God. Is that Hulk? It's Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan. He's about to screw all of you guys. We're out of time. This is Doesn't Matter podcast. We have Strapfax John, the Notorious One Dom, and it is me, Abel, the Dominican Dream, and we will see you next time. Boo!
Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you!